Hello, my name is Justin Merhoff. Um, I'm the Director of Security at Deque Systems, Inc., and I've been in cybersecurity for 27 years. The reason why I share that is it wasn't until 2 years ago that I became aware of the importance of accessibility as it pertains to cybersecurity, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. We're going to go through, these are the slides that I use for a longer talk, but because this is a lightning talk, the slides will be available once this is available for replay, and you will be able to look at all of the slides also with the notes attached. So just quickly in this time, we're going to go over what accessibility and digital accessibility are, what the risks are without that within cybersecurity, how we can apply accessibility to cybersecurity, a call to action, and some useful takeaways that you can have. So first, what is accessibility and digital accessibility? So accessibility, as how we're talking about it, is allowing access to what people need. And I'll give example, especially since the lockdown that was worldwide, most things have gone to web-based systems, specifically for getting services or ordering food, whatever may have you. A lot of those solutions are not exactly accessible for people that use digital accessibility and accessibility assistive tools. So digital accessibility goes beyond just needing like a building to be accessible. It's talking about the digital world needing to be accessible. And one thing I want to really make a point here is I really want to challenge everyone to remember that, because we created this digital world, and right now the digital world's not really accessible, and we can control it. It's not the real physical world. We can create a brand new website. We just have to put our minds to it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So information security programs at most organizations are not accessible. Now, you're going to see a black image here, and I'm not able to break into the alt text in this slide, in this presentation, but the only information that's provided on this slide for that picture is through alternate text. And the reason why I did that is to prove the point that if you do not provide the correct information, that you're not really going to be displaying it correctly. So if you have if you're at an organization, you're running a security program, most of your security policies are digitally, they're not in a physical sense. So you need to make sure that those are accessible. You need to make sure that the program itself, all the tools, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, all the tools that you use for not only for the protection of the people within the organization, but the people that are doing the protecting. And we're going to go into that as well. So right now, not everyone can participate in security awareness programs. Quite a few organizations utilize paid-for solutions from a third party to create security awareness, and that is great. And there are some security awareness trainings in those forms that are accessible, but there generally is a stopping point where they might not be able to get all of the training because not all the training was made accessible. If the training's not accessible, then they can't really follow the program that you've created. So it kind of goes against what, the whole point why we're even in this is to protect people. This also can lead your program to risks that are not being tracked by any GRC tool out there right now. So websites and authentication. So one thing that is used a lot in the digital world is CAPTCHA. And that's not only, not accessible, it's not really cognitive either. So because I can't get the correct answer to 3 plus 7, that means that I can't log in and buy pizza. Like, I don't think that that's fair. Also, if a lot of things are image based, well, if I live in Germany and I'm 15 and I'm asked which one of these are a police car, those don't look like what they look like where I live. So that doesn't really make sense. But to go further in the digital accessibility portion of this, a lot of this is visual. So it doesn't really, it's not really usable. And to me, I just think I personally don't think it's good security. But there's ways that we can fix this. So most cybersecurity solutions are not digitally accessible. And what I mean by that is they're not accessible to the users. So like a password manager, if, for an example, you have a screen reader user in your organization, they should be able to use the password manager just as well as someone that is sighted. But I can tell you that that's not the case for most password managers, because there are some that are accessible, but most, that's not necessarily the case. And Jen Easterly just put out, and CISA just put out the 4 basic things that anyone needs to stay secure, to even a child. And a password manager is one of the main things that she stated. But it goes beyond that. The GRC tools, the different tools that we use in our practice are not accessible. And that is keeping people out from being in cybersecurity. And I think we can change that. And it goes into this slide. I believe cybersecurity of a lot of the fields, I think we are doing a good job, but there's still work to do to make our field more diverse and inclusive. And I would state that we're not going to be able to include everyone with disabilities unless we make things accessible. We're keeping people out. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. So how can we fix it? So when you have your security program at your organization, just like in the slideshow, you will see once you download it and utilize it yourself, all the images that I have in the slideshow have alternate text. That's one thing. Microsoft Office, for example, has a pretty decent accessibility checker as well that you might not be aware of. And you can check your slides to make sure that they're accessible. There are some, I believe, Office or PowerPoint does have, it does help and auto-generate sometimes, depending on the version of PowerPoint you're using, alternate text, but you need to make sure that that's actually what it means on the image. And if it's just decorative, mark it as decorative. We need to make sure that the training that they were using, the tools that we're using are accessible as a part of the program. People with disabilities need to be included in user testing of the solutions before they're sent out. And then the security team is usually in charge of vendors getting chosen, and they could be making sure that things are accessible as well as part of third-party vendor risk. Security awareness programs can be accessible as well. They just need to be designed and developed to be so. And I'm just going through this for the amount of time. Authentication can be accessible too. I would just go ahead and say passwordless is probably the most accessible authentication method currently, and I highly recommend it. We just need to develop and design tooling to be accessible and follow the WCAG guidelines. And so we can ensure that we have inclusion, we need to also include it, accessibility. Call to action, all of you that are on this call could be a part of change. And some useful takeaways, I'll just use this. And at the end, you can go to the website and select the slides, but I have some different takeaway material that you can learn more about accessibility and cybersecurity and others that are advocating for this in the space. And thank you for this opportunity.